Hey, what's going on, guys? Back with another video today. And technically night number 2 of the NBA, but it really felt like opening day because there were just so many games going on as opposed to just the 2 games from the day before. And I won't keep you guys waiting too long. We'll get right into it with Victor Wembanyama's debut. And they played the Dallas Mavericks. And it's no secret that the Mavericks are my favorite team. And it ended with the Mavericks getting the win. But let's talk about how Wemby looked in his first game. Early on, honestly, he didn't look too great. He looked kind of mediocre, got into a lot of foul troubles, a lot of 5s in his box score. I think he finished with 15 points. I think it was 5 rebounds, 5 turnovers, and 5 fouls. But in the fourth quarter, Wemby looked really good. It was kind of what everyone was waiting for. Some of those fouls looked like little ticky-tack fouls. I don't know if he really should have had that many, but Dallas might have been in trouble if Vic could have stayed on the court more and not been in foul trouble. San Antonio looked pretty good. Devin Vassell had a really good game. He was making a lot of shots. And early on, Dallas's defense didn't really look that good. No one was really hitting other than Tim Hardaway, and he even faded later in the game. Wasn't really that great to close it out. Luka had a great game. Typical Luka game, triple-double. But this was probably kind of the perfect game for the Spurs if you're a Spurs fan. You saw a lot of things that you like. Jeremy Sohan looked pretty solid at the point guard. Devin Vassell was really good. Keldon Johnson had some nice moments. And Vic looked good when it mattered. You know, he struggled early, but he had a great fourth quarter. And you got the loss. So if you're a Spurs fan, you probably want to be in the lottery with pretty good lottery odds this year. So it was kind of a perfect game if you're a Spurs fan. But let's talk about Dallas, my favorite team. Derek Lively Jr., he kind of looked, I don't want to say better than Wemby because he's not better than Wemby. But, you know, I think he had a better NBA debut than Wemby. He impacted the game a lot. He had some great, I think he had 5 offensive rebounds. It was 5 defensive and 5 offensive rebounds. So a lot of second chance points. He had one putback dunk that was just electric, kind of a momentum changer, I would say. So he was really big for the Mavericks. Tim Hardaway, like I said, started good, didn't finish strong. Josh Green was fine. Luka was typical Luka. Kyrie Irving, I would say he didn't have a great game. He started pretty cold. He missed 7 threes, 1 for 8 from 3. He hit one late, so when it mattered, he kind of turned it on, but I don't know. Kyrie didn't have a great game. Let me just look over it, make sure I didn't miss anything else stand out. Josh Green was Josh Green. Grant Williams had a good first game, 17 points. And yeah, right, on the Spurs, Zach Collins actually looked pretty good. I know he's not like one of their stars or whatever, but he's their starting center. He looked pretty solid in the post. And, you know, he was making plays on defense, and I think that's kind of all you can ask from a center. And he looked pretty good out there. Cedi Osman is a player I like. I just want to mention Cedi Osman. I think he's a winning basketball player. So moving on from the Dallas-San Antonio game, we'll get into New York and Boston. Now, these 2 games, the one I just talked about and this one, I actually watched these full games, so I have a little bit better idea of what happened in them. Boston obviously got the win over New York. And going into it, that's what I thought would happen. I was kind of thinking the whole time, Boston should win this game. There's no reason they should lose this game. And then I kind of thought there was a bit of a momentum changer when, Jaylen Brown was going in and Hartenstein committed kind of a hard foul on him. And then, Jaylen Brown grabbed his jersey and, resulted in double technicals, all that, whatever. And I thought that might be like a momentum shifter. After that, I was kind of believing the Knicks were going to come back and take it. And it kind of took a little bit, and then I thought, okay, maybe they won't. But then the Knicks started coming back. They took the lead. They unfortunately weren't able to close it out, but I think it speaks a lot for the Knicks that they were able to stay so close in this game with the Celtics when their 2 stars, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, were just really bad from the field. Julius Randle, I like Julius Randle. He looked like he was playing hard. He was hustling. But oh my gosh, he could not hit a shot. It was pretty bad. Same with Jalen Brunson. Not great. But Emmanuel quickly had a great game. He plays good defense. He's like his name is, he's quick on offense. He got some buckets. Quentin Grimes, I liked. RJ Barrett was solid. Not great, but he was solid. Hartenstein looked good in his minutes. But for the Celtics, now Kristaps Porzingis had an amazing debut for the Celtics. I think it was, the most points in a Celtics debut ever with 30, passing Dominique Wilkins. But, Porzingis looked like their second best player out there. Honestly, if you just watched this game, he kind of looked like their best player. Obviously, he's not their best player. That's Jason Tatum. But if Porzingis can keep playing like this, he might be their second best player over Jaylen Brown. And of course, this is kind of recency bias considering Jaylen Brown didn't have a good game. I'm sure Jaylen Brown will bounce back and remind everyone who he is. Drew Holiday struggled a little bit from the field, but he was making plays on defense. Derek White had a really good game. He was scoring the ball when he needed to. He was playing defense. He was hustling. He was diving everywhere. I think that bald head he has now makes him more aerodynamic running around out there. Al Horford looked good off the bench. Peyton Pritchard was we'll have to see if he lives up to that extension. I think he will. Didn't have a great game, but, nothing to worry about too much. But yeah, the Celtics were able to close this one out. I think it was, a 4-point game? So it was a close one. Mitchell Robinson didn't look great. It seemed like he forgot Kristaps could shoot. But, Kristaps is a tough cover, so I can't blame him too much. All right, so those were the two games that I watched in their entirety. The OKC Bulls game, I also watched all the possessions. I didn't watch the full uncut game, but I watched all the possessions. And, the Thunder took care of business. It was a cakewalk for them over the Bulls. Apparently the Bulls were having, some internal problems after the games, heated conversations and stuff. I think Vucevic was upset about some stuff. Maybe he wasn't getting the ball enough for his liking. But the Thunder were great. Shea had 31 and 10. Josh Giddey was 16. Chet Holmgren had a decent debut with 11. Although, Andre Drummond kind of gave him a welcome to the NBA moment. Took the ball from him, crossed him over, hit a layup, put him on the ground. It was kind of funny to watch. Jalen Williams with a really good game. Should have been Rookie of the Year last year, in my opinion. Not to take anything away from Paolo. Paolo's a great player. But yeah, just overall a really good game from the Thunder and their 5 slam cover guys. And my camera is running out of battery, so we will be back. All right, sorry about that. My camera died. Where was I? I think I was talking about the Bulls getting shellacked by the Thunder. And yeah, it just wasn't a good game for the Bulls. They didn't shoot very well. DeMar DeRozan wasn't great. Uncharacteristically low efficient night from Zach LaVine. Vucevic was fine. Didn't get too many touches, so I think that's probably why he was upset. But yeah, really the only positives from this game were Andre Drummond crossing over Chet. Oh, and he also dunked on him. Forgot about that. He did dunk on Chet as well. But yeah, let's get into the other games. Let's kind of pick it up. Now, all these other games, I only watched the full game highlights, so I got a good gist of what happened. Rockets Magic. Magic took care of business. For me, this kind of confirmed what I already believed. I don't really believe in the Rockets this year. I think there's a good chance they're the worst team in the West. They have some good players, though, so I wouldn't say that's for sure. It could always be Portland. Portland didn't look great today either. But I think, Portland and Houston and... Yeah, I think Portland and Houston are going to be battling for that bottom spot in the West. Magic look good. I like the Magic. They have 5 guys on their team that I think are a threat to go for 20 any night. Cole Anthony did go for 20. Paolo could give you 20. Franz can give you 20. Markelle Fultz could give you 20. And even sometimes, Wendell could give you 20 if it's the right night. So there's a lot of stuff to like on the Magic. Gary Harris is a solid veteran. Jonathan Isaac's finally healthy. We'll see if that lasts. On the Rockets, Şengün had some really nice moments, but he also missed a lot of shots. But Şengün's a guy to watch. I like Şengün. Jalen Green didn't look good. I think Thompson had like 5 blocks. Wizards Pacers. Pacers won by 23. Jordan Poole looked really bad. I think on one of my other videos, someone left in the comments that Jordan Poole was the key to the Wizards' success. Yeah, he looked really key there, missing 6 threes. But, Jordan, this is how Jordan Poole plays. It's going to happen. He's going to have games like this. And, I wouldn't be surprised if in their next game or the game after that, he goes for like 40 or 35, That's just how Jordan Poole is. He's inconsistent. Hopefully, he can become more consistent for the Wizards' sake and his sake. But, yeah, I still like Jordan Poole. Kyle Kuzma had a good game. Tyrese Halliburton was really good for the Pacers. I think Denny Avdija had a solid game, 4 for 8 from the field. Had 9 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds, along with a steal. That's all you ask of your role players, right? Tyus Jones, showing why he's the guy. He had 2 turnovers. That's only noteworthy because Tyus Jones is like, the no turnover guy, I guess, Danilo Gallinari looks like he's struggling to move out there at times. And then, Bruce Brown hit 6 threes. He was really good. Tyrese was good. Buddy Hield, good shooter. Good shooters all around. Obi Toppin getting some minutes was nice. Cleveland and Brooklyn, that was a close game. Max Strus, I think he went for 27 and 12 rebounds. So Max Strus had a great debut game with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cam Thomas was giving him buckets. He went for 36. Shooting off the dribble, pull up threes, all that stuff. I like Cam Thomas, I don't think he's necessarily a star, but I do like Cam Thomas. I think in the right situation, he could average like 20. Maybe you don't want him doing that if you want to win. Cavs were able to close this one out. Donovan Mitchell with some clutch play. Jared Allen not playing. Dennis Smith Jr. I like Dennis Smith Jr. 10 points, solid game. Mikal Bridges with 20. Cam Johnson with a good game. Donovan Mitchell playing good. Max Strus, obviously, I said. Isaac Okoro actually looked really good with 18, 6, and 4. I'll try to speed run these a little bit. Kings and Jazz, 2 teams I like a lot. Harrison Barnes reminding everyone that he was the number 1 option on the Mavericks for a while. Went for 33. Jordan Clarkson went for 24 on the Jazz. Not a great game from Markkanen. Sabonis had a pretty solid game. Typical Sabonis game. But yeah, Kings close that one out by 16. Clippers take care of business against the Trailblazers. Blazers didn't look that good. Shadion Sharp didn't look all that great. He's going to be better, obviously. He's going to be a great player for years to come, I believe. Editing Matt here real quick. I meant Scoot Henderson, not Shadion Sharp. So that's my bad. Scoot Henderson in his first game. But, for his first game, didn't look great. DeAndre Ayton only put up 4 shots. Only played like 23 minutes, too. So I don't know. I only watched the full game highlights of this one. I didn't watch the full game. So I don't know if that's really a DeAndre problem, not putting up shots, or if that's his team's problem, not getting him the ball enough. Malcolm Brogdon had a good game. Paul George and Kawhi had a good game. Russell Westbrook looked really good. Had a double-double with points and I think assists, and then also 5 rebounds. He was just playing with a lot of energy. Russell Westbrook looked awesome. This game, I know it was against the Trailblazers, but this game kind of made me believe in the Clippers a little more because I've been pretty down on them coming into the year. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any games. Oh, yeah. Pistons, Heat, 1-point game. Jimmy Butler was pretty bad from the field. Cade Cunningham looked pretty good. Jaime Jaquez looked good in his very limited minutes, so I think Jaime Jaquez has a successful career ahead of him. I think the Heat are going to turn him into a stud. He's going to get more minutes as the season goes on, I think. Tyler Hero was fine. Duncan Robinson looked good in his role as, more than just a spot-up shooter. He was handling the ball a little bit. He was making plays. He was slashing to the basket, and I think in that kind of role, Duncan Robinson can thrive. Kevin Love with the 13 and 10. Killian Hayes had 10 points, but also missed 6 threes. Isaiah Stewart with a solid game. Jalen Duran with a good game. Yeah, it was a good game for the Pistons. I like Marvin Bagley in his limited minutes. He had some good buckets. Yeah, and I think Pelicans and Grizzlies, I think that's the last game for us to go over. Actually, no, it's not. Pelicans, Grizzlies. CJ McCollum looked really good. Desmond Bane looked good. This kind of confirmed what I thought about with the Grizzlies, is that they probably won't be able to really hang without Ja Morant and Steven Adams. So maybe when Ja comes back, they can kind of get their feet back under him. But Desmond Bane looked really good. Desmond Bane is a bona fide star. Jaren Jackson he was whatever, Derrick Rose had some good moments, but overall didn't shoot the ball very well. Yeah, and the Pelicans are just a good team. If the Pelicans can stay healthy, they're a great team. Zion was great. Brandon Ingram was good. CJ McCollum, Valanciunas. This team could be sneaky dangerous in the playoffs. Raptors took care of business against the Timberwolves. I think that was the only game. Yeah, that was the only game where any team didn't score 100, and in that game, both teams didn't score 100. Dennis Schroeder, I think, led the way for the Raptors with 22 and 7. Anthony Edwards at 26 and 14. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, not a great shooting night for anyone, really. But what do you expect for such a low-scoring game? Karl Anthony Towns, the self-proclaimed best big man shooter, went 2 for 10 from 3. Obviously, he's a really good shooter. He's going to do better than that. But I just think that's funny, opening night, 2 for 10 from 3. Raptors take care of business, put them away. OG with 20, Pascal with 15. Scotty Barnes had a good game, 17, 5, and 8, along with 2 steals and 5 blocks. 3 steals away from a 5x5. That's a lot of steals, but still, really good game. Grady Dick only played 2 minutes. So we didn't get to really see what he could do. And I think the final game, let me just make sure this is the last game, it was the Hornets versus the Hawks. And not a great start to the season for the Hawks. The Hawks were not able to get a win here. The Hornets closed them out. PJ Washington looked really good. PJ Washington kind of looked like a star against the Hawks last night. LaMelo Ball, I think that's a typical LaMelo Ball game. He, had some highlight plays, but didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but, had a overall probably positive impact for his team, 10 assists. Brandon Miller looked good off the bench. Brandon Miller's first NBA game, looking pretty good. Looked better than Scoot. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Scoot, but he had a good game. Mark Williams made me a believer. He had some big plays. He only had 1 block, surprisingly, but the 1 block he had was one of the most emphatic blocks I've ever seen. He went up, caught it, brought it down. But yeah, not much to say. The Hawks were pretty bad. Their best player was no contest. It was Jalen Johnson. I think, is he a rookie? I think Jalen Johnson's a rookie. He was by far their best player. Trae Young shot the ball terribly, 1 for 9 from 3. Clint Capella was solid. Sadiq Bey was okay. Just not looking good for the Hawks. DeJounte Murray, not great. Tough game for the Hawks. Hornets closed that one out. And one thing I forgot to mention from the Kings and Jazz game, Chris Dunn got absolutely murdered by Malik Monk. He was able to get him back on one of the next plays with the dunk of his own, but that was a good play. My camera's dying here, so that was the recap. In the comments below, kind of leave what you thought about the second night of the NBA. It really felt like opening night. There's a lot of things to like. I like how Dallas is looking. They were able to get the win. Although their defense wasn't great, but I think, Kyrie's probably not going to be that bad every game. Things are looking up for Vic. A lot of promising rookies in the league. This year's going to be interesting. So yeah, just let me know what you think. Leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.